Today, it's the Stacker 200, presented by YJ Stinger, live from Dover, Delaware. This 1 mile concrete speedway is a challenging track for the drivers in the Busch Series. Very fast, high bank turns, a narrow racing path. Here you don't have to go looking for trouble. It will find you.
Championship contenders Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch on the outside of rows 1 and 2.
And this is the 12th time that Mark Truex Jr. has started on the front row this year.
Kenny Wallace, Stacker 2 car, row number 3, alongside Kevin Harvick. Mikey Waltrip, 2 Busch Series wins here at Dover, row 4, along with Johnny Sauter.
Casey Mears, next Tough Cup driver inside of row 5, and Jason Keller, Strimmy, and Mike Bliss. And Mike Bliss, had a really good race car in row 6.
And Tim Fito over the new crew chief this week. He's in row 7, alongside Chicago winner Justin Labonte. Former Series champ David Green back in row 8, and Mark Martin, Mr. Busch Series, from row 9.
Go back in row 10. There's Blake Feast, his about his 6th asphalt race ever. Stacy Compton, Greg Biffle won this race in June back inside of row 11.
And Tony Raines always runs well here at Dover from row 12. Kerry Earnhardt making a start in a Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet. He'll be in row 13 today. And Jason Leffler, 3rd in the championship, all the way back in row 15. Tough qualifying day for them yesterday. They're hoping for better in the race.
And Casey Atwood, who ran so well in Richmond a couple of weeks ago, back in row 16.
Derek Cope, former Dover winner on the Nextel Cup side, pretty deep in the field. And you look at some of the final starters getting in on provisionals from row 20 on back. Former champ Steve Grissom. And scratch on the field, Shelby Howard in a Renzi Racing Ford.
Car 35. Here are the cars that failed to qualify. Matt Kobila, hard crash yesterday in qualifying in the 40 car.
Fortunately, he was okay. And Shelby Howard scheduled to start last. They had to change an engine, not going to affect him any, although had he been farther ahead in the field, he would have had to go to the back of the pack for the 1 engine per weekend rule. All right, a couple of pace laps away from the start. Let's check some stories down on pit road. Matt, you're first.
Alan, it's hard to believe, but Kevin Harvick hasn't won a NASCAR Busch Series race since Las Vegas back in March. He was 6th here back in June with this very race car. Now, you heard Greg Biffle talk about that it was almost dark here last night when final practice ended, so Ricky Fires, Kevin's crew chief, they went back to their setup that they started final practice with. They also made a gear change, which a lot of teams have done this morning here at Dover. Today, Burns.
Matt, 3rd in the championship, Jason Leffler qualified 30th. I checked with Booty Barker, his crew chief, this morning about what the problem was, and he said, you know what? We thought we had a decent car. In fact, Jason thought he had a decent lap, but when we heard the time, we were surprised. The car was just a little bit tight, but they were a lot slower than they expected to be. Working in Jason's favor today, he does have a win here in the Craftsman Truck Series last spring. Marty.
Dave, earlier this week it was announced that Ron Hornaday would not be back in the 2 car in 2005. Talked to him right before he got in the car. He said, I understand Richard Childress's position. He said, they hired me to come and win a championship. We are not a championship team right now. The good thing is that Richard has announced it now because the phone has already started ringing. I've had several people call me about rides for next year. Today, car's pretty good. Hornaday says we might have a shot to win this thing. Alan?
Hornaday coming from 18th on the grid here at Dover today. 1 to go will be the signal as they come to the start-finish line. It is 200 laps around the Monster Mile to make up the distance today. A little bit better than $1 million on the line.
That pit road speed 35.
Oh,
that's
man.
crawling.
That is crawling to these cars that run around at 160, 70 miles per hour. Pit wind at 85 to 90 means you cannot make it on one stop. You're going to have to stop at least twice.
And as we've come to see in a lot of these races, when you make that stop and how long you can run on that last set of tires at one speed might determine who wins this thing.
Because they get 3 sets in this race of tires. So, ain't see guys coming in for them tires.
Something else to think about at this racetrack as we go through the day. This place has been wonderful to drivers looking for their first NASCAR Busch Series win. 13 different drivers that picked up their first career Busch Series win here at the Monster Mile.
Perfect temperatures for racing.
Oh, man, what a wonderful day.
And a good crowd on hand as well to see the 42nd NASCAR Busch Series race here in Dover. So the championship contenders starting on the outside of rows 1 and 2. You've got Casey Kane looking for what has thus far been a very elusive Busch Series win this season for him. He's on pole. And some fast guys mid-pack like Mark Martin starting 17th, and Greg Biffle, the June winner here, starting 21st.
And Hornaday started back in 18th, and you know, let's face it, he doesn't have a ride for next year, so he needs to put forth his best effort.
How soon will trouble strike today? And when it strikes, how many cars will it claim?
If it strikes early, be a lot of cars.
Here they come down for the start of the Stacker 200 presented by YJ Stinger.
Ooh, a little trouble there in the back. Somebody may have missed a shift or something. A lot of guys had to take evasive action.
And Truex going for the lead in the 8 car, trying to get by pole sitter Casey Kane. Busch Series, just like Nextel Cup.
Yeah, but don't forget, Kane's on the outside, BP.
5 bonus points if you can lead a lap.
He likes that outside.
Well, he does, doesn't he? Oh, he loves it outside.
Working for him.
Casey Kane leading lap 1 so far, holding off the Truex charge. It's Mike McLaughlin third in the 25, Kyle Busch fourth in the 5, and the orange car is Kevin Harvick. He runs 5th in the 21. Whoa, that was close to the wall. Is that Stremme?
You'll see a lot of that today.
I'll tell you what, Truex is trying again, and he has a terrific run this time on Casey Kane.
And he's got him. So Martin Truex going to collect 5 bonus points toward the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. That'll put a little pressure on driver 5, Kyle Busch, to get up there and lead a lap. And he goes for 3rd place on Mike McLaughlin.
May lose a couple of spots here. We'll see. He can get down to the bottom. It doesn't look like Harvick's going to let him.
He drove it on in there.
He did that last lap, and that's why I think hurt him, because he slid up the racetrack and opened up the door.
And there's the good Dover. The 2 good fast race cars can go through the corner side by side.
Here's 2nd place, Kyle Busch under Casey Kane, and Busch goes up to the number 2 spot. So your top 2 in the championship run 1st and 2nd in the early laps here in Dover. Kyle Busch had a very frustrating race here at Dover in June. He had some contact with another car on pit road. Then he got caught up in that big mess we saw during what you were talking about earlier, Wally. Then he ended up caving in the grill on the car, and he still came back and, oh, I know, then he had some radio problems. He couldn't talk back and forth with his crew, and he still came back and finished 5th.
Well, you know, the pits here are very difficult, and I think a lot of these guys would rather see the pit stops under the green, because when you get the yellow and get everybody on pit lane, that's when you really have a lot of trouble, guys bouncing off each other when they're entering and exiting their pits.
Here comes Mark Martin up through traffic. That's Tim Fido in the 12. Mark just passed. That's for 13th place.
Started 17th, so he is going forward in the 9 car.
I talked to Tony Liberati. Whoa, a little bobble there getting into the corner. Marty?
I talked to Mark before the race, and he said, you know, we weren't that good. He said we were really bad in the morning practice yesterday, but yesterday afternoon the car got much better. Tony Liberati also told me this morning the car continued to come to Mark. Mark made some changes this morning to the car based on what happened in Nextel Cup Series practice. Mark fairly confident they come through the top 5, but you know, when you talk to Mark, you're never quite sure if he's confident or just downplaying everything. But I think they have a good car that can certainly finish in the top 5.
So Mark has picked up 4 spots in the opening run.
It's Hornaday.
Yeah, Hornaday is going forward in that 2 car. That's for the 11th position. And as I said, he's auditioning for the next ride.
And so Bliss falling back to 12th place, driving for Joe Gibbs. Back here at
Another car that's looking really good is the guy you talked to on the pace lap, BP. Greg Biffle is moving up, moving forward.
Let's check back and find Biffle here as he comes through the crowd. That's Biffle in the 60, and he's working on Paul Menard in the 11 for 17th place. Dave?
And of course, they hated to start back where they were, Alan, in 21st. A little bobble there from Biffle. Talked to crew chief Todd Parrott this morning and said the car just got loose in qualifying. That put him behind the 8 ball, but like he said on the radio to UBP, thinks he can win this thing.
Advantage over second place, growing.
Large, almost 5 seconds over Mark Truex Jr. in 8. Car is still hanging on to the second spot. As a matter of fact, he's about a second ahead of third place McLaughlin.
Casey Kane best finish this season, second place. That seems to be the story of his year so far on this side and the other side, the next Cup as well. And there's your championship leader Truex, nearly 5 seconds behind, Dave.
The only thing Martin Truex has said in the last few laps, about lap 60, he radioed the crew saying, I feel a bounce in the right front. That was news to the crew, and they're keeping an eye on that.
It's getting bouncy.
Getting bouncy. Another car's getting bouncy. That tire pressure building up.
Now we're at lap 66. Not having a caution flag. Expect we're probably 20 laps away from the beginning of green flag pit stops for the front runners.
Check this camera out on board the 32 car of David Strimmy.
There he goes down the backstretch into turn 3. Watch the car compress. Slides up, trying to pick the gas up. Comes off of turn 4, back on the straightaway. Now watch when he goes into 1, how those springs compress.
Springs that Wally's talking about over here. These are the shock absorbers we're always talking about. That is the right rear shock absorber.
And this place used to be 5 times rougher than it is now. When the Indy cars came here, they really took the bumps and they really made this place smooth. It's still rough, but it's nothing like it used to be.
We always talk about the rear sway bar, rear panhard bar. That's this black bar down on the very bottom of the screen. And by moving that up or down, they're able to adjust cars.
Okay. So circle the belt there, because we see that come off sometimes.
Rear end, that belt runs a pump that pumps the fluid out of the gear up into a cooler and cools that fluid.
See the spring rubber is tucked in that left rear spring as well to try and help the compression rate. And that just unending movement of that rear end housing up and down in the shocks. You can see the movement there.
And
the
that
springs.
tank that you see is the oil tank. That's where the oil for the engine is stored, the reservoir for it.
The Hershey bar.
So that is David Stremme in 22nd place, running 1 lap down. There's the exterior on Stremme, about to be overtaken by Kevin Harvick, the 4th place car. Dave?
What position do you have him running in now? 23rd now?
Stremme, I have him in
Yeah, he started 11th, and the car has been not very good for him at all. Radioed early on that it was loose in the center, a little tight off the corner. I'm not sure you can tell all that from everything you were circling in there, could you?
No.
Okay.
But you can tell by the way he's running the racetrack, Dave. He's really running up high, and a lot of cars are passing him.
You're having to be very gentle feeding the power back in.
He and Blake Feast in the 87 car, they've had a heck of a battle for about 15, 20 laps now. The 87 car, I think, as I said, about his 6th race ever on asphalt. He's a dirt track racer in the sprints and midgets.
How many races on concrete?
First, well, he might have, I guess it's probably the first race on concrete.
Yep.
I think he's faster than Stremme right now, but he's trying to pass him strictly on the inside. He's trying not to run into the 32, trying to learn something.
Negative on the first race on concrete. He won an ARCA race at Nashville back in April.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay, that is the concrete surface there.
There you go. How about for 2nd place? That's going to change hands. Mike
the
McLaughlin
Marines.
in 25. Charging around. Truex in the 8. So new 2nd place runner. Problem for them. 5 seconds behind leader Casey Kane. Matty?
See his wife Katie on top of the pit box. She is clapping, cheering her guy Mike McLaughlin on. He was trying to search around and find a better line, Alan, that would help that free on entry and tight through the middle condition that he's experienced. We've got caution on the racetrack.
Debris. Was it turn 2, did I hear? Turn 2. And the first caution of this race comes out at lap 74.
And the pits are going to get busy, and we talked about earlier, I mentioned, I think these guys would rather come down pit lane under green conditions, because now, well, you know what, though? We got, what, 18 cars, so it won't be as bad. only 18 cars are going to come in this first time.
But we know that cautions breed cautions. Get all these cars. They were strung around 1 mile in racetrack. Caution flag. When the green flag waves, we'll have all these cars jammed up nose to tail again.
And double file all the way back.
Double file. So yeah, it's.
I'll tell you what, people like Kyle Busch sliding back, ill-handling car. Truex beginning to struggle a little bit with that 8, a little bit. Welcome chance for an adjustment on those cars.
There you see the racetrack you talked about when they ground the racetrack down, those white spots on the track.
Took those bumps out?
Yep, smoothed it out quite a bit.
So first yellow of the race for Debris comes out at lap number 75. And here come the leaders toward the opening of pit road to make the first of what will be at least 2 pit stops in this race. Pit road open. And here we go. Casey Kane, Mike McLaughlin, Martin Truex, Kevin Harvick, Michael Waltrip, the order of the top 5 coming in.
And I tell you what, pit stops here are an adventure. Marty, coming to you.
Yeah, BP, solid run for Mark Martin. Started 17th. He ran up to the 9th position. Mark kind of made the call from the cockpit on the changes he went on the car. They're going to take a pound out of the right front tire. They're also going to make a wedge adjustment, trying to loosen up Mark Martin's car. The car just way too tight for Mark right now as he hits his stall. Matt?
Mike McLaughlin comes to a stop. The wedge wrench goes to the back window. They're going to make a chassis adjustment to try to fix that tightness center, but also try to help him up off the corner. He just can't get in the throttle when he needs to, Dave.
Leader Casey Kane already in with a track bar adjustment on the right side. They'll change 4 tires, slight air pressure adjustment, little tight into the corner. That's what they wanted to fix. He's off pit road first.
Harvick going to gain some ground on the pit stops, looks like. And a long stop for McLaughlin in the 25.
Yeah.
How about Kyle Busch, Marty?
Yeah, Kyle came on the radio and told the guys, finally described exactly what was going wrong with the car. Tight from the center off, and it gets worse the more he goes through the corner. They went up on the track bar 2 rounds, trying to free up the 5 car just a little bit.
All right, so the leader off pit road is Casey Kane. Harvick out second, Truex third, Michael Waltrip fourth, Kenny Wallace fifth, then Ron Hornaday sixth, and Mike McLaughlin all the way back to 7th on the stop.
Well, the 25 lost a lot of time there. What happened? But
Looked like a lug nut. Harold Holly is all upset. Man.
Pit stops have been a struggle for this team from time to time throughout the year. They've fallen from 2nd to 7th now. Coming to the restart in the Stacker 200, presented by YJ Stinger. The leaders Martin Truex Jr., Casey Kane, Kevin Harvick, Kenny Wallace, and Michael Waltrip.
Green flag.
Rounding out your top 5. First lap car, 18, J.J. Yaley. Black machine in the inside lane. He is in 21st place. Under this caution flag, only a few guys pitted. Jason Leffler came down pit road. Casey Mears, Paul Menard, Johnny Sauter, David Green, and Mike Bliss took on tires. And then on 1 to go, David Green topped off the fuel with 103 laps to go.
and remember that, because that may come into play before this thing is over.
Marty, are they thinking about possibly going the rest of the way on fuel?
Well, they're going to gamble, BP. They are 6 laps short from here. If we do go green, we're making it all the way on fuel. I just talked to the crew. They said, why not? We got a new sponsor this week. We're going to try to do everything we can to win this race.
Well, I think that was a good gamble. Good move.
So David Green back in 19th place. Matt, you got more on a fuel strategy?
Casey Mears gave up a strong run. He will restart 16th. They also pitted, and the reason they feel like they're 2 laps or less short of making it the distance, John Wolf made a chassis adjustment, and they're going to roll the dice, and they're going to go for it. He feels like they're going to be able to do it.
All right, so that's the story on Casey Mears in the 1 car.
Man. See the 37 car. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch, the 5 car, Mark Martin in the 9. That's the battle for the 9th position.
And up front,
Here we go.
surprise, surprise.
Finally came in for him. Casey Kane, outside move. Goodbye.
Just needs a few laps to get going on that fresh set of tires.
Yeah.
So Kane will lead this race for a third time today. Has led the most laps so far. This will be 61 of the 103. Now we'll see if Truex is able to hang with him this time.
It doesn't look like it because last time by he was on his back bumper, and this time he's 15, 20 car lengths behind.
Oh, car on the wall. Oh, here we go. Man, that was close.
J.J. Yaley in the 18.
Good job by those guys.
Oh, and they're still trying. The green is still out. Cars everywhere.
Caution's out.
And JJ finally wisely moves up next to the outside retaining wall to get open racetrack. All those cars behind him.
Tell you what, a lot of those guys did a good job there. I couldn't tell no McLaughlin was back there, but
Yeah, he's got some problems there.
Yeah, he smacked that wall pretty good.
Those wheels don't look like they're both tracking north at the same time. Trouble off turn 2 looks like this.
LE18 car right in front of Biffle. He goes up, gets loose, and goes up to save the car, the wall.
now that, yeah. The Hornaday did a great job just missing
Oh,
it.
look at Kyle Busch. Whoa, 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 whoa. Brakes. Nice job there. Martin.
Mike Wallace on the apron of the racetrack.
Here we watch another shot, and boom, in the wall. Thing is, if the yellow didn't come out, these guys still have to go hard, but really a jam up here.
And you see all the debris that was flying down on the inside. I'm sure that was brake rotors, because when these cars slap that wall with the right front tire, it usually breaks the front brake rotor, and which is a cast iron, and all those pieces go flying around. And NASCAR wisely, they threw the caution flag so they can pick that stuff up, because that'll kill a tire.
Okay, 95 laps to go. Do you pit here for the final time?
Now's
Your
the
leaders.
now's the time, yeah.
All right, pit road's open this time. Let's see.
I think it's going to get real busy. And another thing, you're talking about that rotor. It's the last thing you want to run over. A hot rotor with your tires.
Kenny Wallace stays out. Fourth place car does not pit. Most of the other front runners do. Matt Yoakum.
And Ricky Byers on top of Kevin Harvick's pit box. The Reese's guys on the wall waiting for him to get to his pit stall. Now the air pressure adjustment they made on that last stop freed the car up way too much. They're going to try to back up on that on this stop. 4-tire change for Harvick. Today,
Leader Casey Kane in track bar adjustment again. Car just a little bit tight. They'll take on 4 tires and fuel. They won the race off pit road last time. This Phil Horton coach crew trying to do it again. They'll put the left sides on. Here comes Casey Mears. It's close.
I think the one car beat him. I don't know. They looked at a different line here.
Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, no choice for Kyle Busch, second place man in the championship, as to whether or not they would pit. He ran over a lot of debris. You saw him miss the wreck. Car very tight for Kyle still. Pound in the right rear tire. And again, 2 rounds up on the track bar.
Keep trying to free the car up.
And check the camera at the scoring line exiting the pits.
Looked like the one car beat him from here, but
He did.
he did.
He had stopped earlier, so this was just to top off. I'm sure that was fuel only in the one car.
And you see that 37 car?
Yep.
Came out in third.
Just took a little splash of fuel to top it off. We got a few more guys.
What was that on the backstretch we just missed when we went to the pit shot? Something fell out of another car.
So how about the strategy call on Kenny Wallace's team not to pit?
Well, he's got to pit again.
Right, not to pit there.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Don't think. Well, who knows?
I don't think it's going to work.
No, I don't either.
We'll see. Kenny the leader. The previous leader, Casey Kane, is back in 6th place on this restart with Kevin Harvick and Martin Truex behind him. front for the lead. Mike Bliss with pressure on Kenny Wallace.
Wow, look at Bliss just close up on the back bumper of Kenny Wallace's car.
Now they're on different pit schedules. Mike Bliss stopped at lap 94. Kenny Wallace last stopped at 76.
Yeah, 20 is on much better tires right now, and it shows.
And he might be thinking about trying to go the rest of the way in the 20 car. Marty, Kenny, do you think? Maybe?
Well, Steve Addington says they can go all the way. The problem is Mike just came on the radio, said, guys, I might have a tire going down. Remember, there was a lot of debris on the track, so these guys who did not stop might have hit some of that. Bliss so far staying out, though.
That would be rotten luck for Mike Bliss if that were the case. Apparently they're looking at Mike's left front to see if he's got something going down there or not. And how about the strategy on Kenny Wallace's team to leave him out there, Matt?
Last pit on lap 76. Are you done pitting, or are you going to have to come back again? Are you rolling the dice, Chris?
Well, I didn't hear you, but I'm sure Vinny is not liking this one. But I feel like Matt Bullen up there. You know, the guys back at Bill Davis Racing Engine Shop do a good job with our fuel mileage, and we're about that close. So, you know, we had to go for Stacker 2 and Bill Davis Racing, and we get a couple more cautions, we'll be fine.
He told me the way their season's gone, he had to roll the dice. They need to make something big happen. Had a lot of good runs through the last 4 races. Nearly won 4 races to go here.
So they're going to go for it.
Man, that'd be something big.
Needing a couple
gas tank.
Yeah, no gas. Exactly.
But they obviously, the way he talked, they need some more laps of caution to get there.
Yeah, Bliss fell off the 23 car Kenny Wallace. So
87 car Blake Feast slowed dramatically down the backstretch. Oh, no, careful, boys.
Trying to get to the inside. Don't go that far to the inside till you get a roll down.
The engine, look, yeah, we got an engine problem in the 87 car. Tough break.
There you go. We do stay on the green.
For some reason, the water temperature, even with the fan on, was 270.
Well, that means there's something wrong. So Blake Feast will go to the garage area right there.
and the 20 car is way off the pace now, so he must have a tire down.
So that's the race for second. There is Mike Bliss. And look at the left front.
Yep.
Oh, what a heartbreak there. Marty?
Oh, you just feel for these guys, Alan. Bliss just came on the radio and said, we got a flat, guys. What happened? How did that happen? Bliss very upset, but obviously he probably ran through some debris that he did not see on the racetrack. And indeed, it is the left front tire. You can see virtually gone on the left front tire for the 20 car. Tough break. These guys could have made it all the way on fuel. They had a decent chassis today, a little bit tight. They'll change the 2 left side tires and send them back out on the track.
No luck at all for Mike Bliss. There's the leader, Kenny Wallace. With Bliss falling off his back bumper, it's opened up a lead of 2.5 seconds from Kenny to second place Jason Leffler. Behind them, the picture has changed for the first of the guys with fresh tires off of pit road.
And the 21 car, Kevin Harvick passed the 38 of Casey Kane and has just driven away from him. And, you know, maybe Casey, back in all this traffic, doesn't have the dominant car that he had once before. Right now, Casey Kane is almost 5 seconds behind Kenny Wallace.
So there is the guy that's the farthest forward of the fresh tire brigade, if you will. Casey Mears in front of him was a gas and go on that last caution. And the 00 of Jason Leffler, Dave, the second place car, did not stop under that last yellow.
Alan, that's because they stopped on the debris caution lap 92, put on 4 tires, made a chassis adjustment, and added fuel. Remember, they were down laps and not running well at all. They got the lucky dog pass and then pitted, as we said, on the previous stop. That's why they stayed out here, got their track position. So they can go to the end too, Alan. Okay. They say they can go.
Thank you. So up to second place for Jason Leffler. Leffler, a one-time winner so far this season. Nashville race back in June. And looking for win number 2. I talked to Jason yesterday morning here at the track, and they were struggling with their race car some, but he felt like they'd find a way to get on top of it and get up front, and by golly, they have. Now, David Green, remember we talked about him topping off the fuel on the last caution and coming off pit road like third of the cars and being in great shape, right? Remember you said, remember that?
Right.
Not that good anymore.
Oh, what happened?
Because he had to come back in later under that yellow flag and change tires. When he came in for the gas and go, locked the brakes up, flat spotted the tires, is the report from pit road.
And you saw Jason Leffler take the 0-0 by Kevin Harvick and move into the third spot.
So David Green is all the way back to 18th BP. Kenny Wallace, the race leader of the Stacker 200 presented by YJ Stinger here at Dover International Speedway with 69 laps to go. He's got nearly a 3-second advantage on Casey Mears, with Jason Leffler third, and now Casey Kane fourth, and Kevin Harvick back to fifth. Driver 38 starting to roll, but Kenny has really put some distance on the pack.
He sure has. Right now, he's 5 seconds in front of Casey Kane. And again, Casey Kane's in fourth spot, but I really think that's the car he's going to have to beat.
Yeah, and it's going to be, here's the key right here, is how good Kenny Wallace gets through traffic. Casey Kane gets through traffic like he did earlier in the race. He's going to catch Kenny Wallace pretty quick.
There you see Casey Kane finally across the start-finish line as he tries to close in on the back of. How about that? Casey Mears was the fastest car that time by.
Trying to close in the back of Jason Leffler to challenge for third place. Mark Truex Jr. hanging right behind him. As we look at Kenny Wallace, who has yet this season to have a top 5 finish. If you'd have told me at the beginning of this NASCAR Busch Series season that Kenny Wallace wouldn't have a top 5 finish by the time we got to September in Dover, I'd have told you were joking.
That's hard to believe. But he's leading the right one anyway right now.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a good run, I think your sponsor's race would be the best place to do it.
Talked with Kenny yesterday. He spent most of this past week when the NASCAR Busch Series was not racing out in St. Louis, where he and his wife Kim are from. Spent some time with family, spent some time hanging around the St. Louis Cardinals, his beloved Cardinals.
He loves the St. Louis Cardinals. Thinks they're going to go all the way this year.
Said he got to go take some batting practice on the field with some of the cards.
I talked about Casey Kane, the 38 car, being the biggest threat for Kenny Wallace. Here he comes. Third spot with him in it.
And that's a surrender move by Leffler.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this has been inevitable.
He's going to surrender another one, too. Right here to Mark Truex.
Faster car coming through. Thank you. So Kane to third, Truex to fourth, Leffler to fifth, and by the way, Kyle Busch running 12th. So as they run, another good points day for Martin Truex Jr. in his bid for the NASCAR Busch Series Championship. Truex led a lap, led 35 laps, in fact, earlier in the race. Collecting some bonus points there. What an incredible season this young man has had driving this 8 car. 4 wins. Bristol, Talladega, St. Louis, Nazareth. His average finish this season, 7th. 19 top 10s in 26 races, 13 top 5s, and he's finished every race. No DNFs. Meanwhile, his championship rival Kyle Busch is struggling back there in 12th place rather.
And we reported earlier that he kept talking about his car was more bouncy than it had been before.
And this came across his team's radio just during that last set of pit stop exchanges.
Okay.
Well, what he said was, crew chief Lance McGrew talking to Kyle Busch, saying that Robbie Loomis, Jeff Gordon's crew chief, came down to their pit stall and reported that that was the same thing Jeff experienced in Nextel Cup final practice earlier today. Said it felt like there were 4 basketballs on the car.
Bouncing
as tires. Yep.
Yes.
Okay, let's see how close Alan got.
Take 2.
Just to let you know, Loomis stopped by a minute ago and he said Jeff complained exactly the same thing you're saying, that it felt like you're riding around on 4 basketballs. Hey, we're going to do what the leaders do here, guys. We're getting pretty close to halfway, so be alive.
Well, you did pretty good, Alan.
Pretty good, Alan.
Real accurate.
Thank you. Marty.
That was very good, Alan. I'm very impressed by that. I heard it live, and they have not just been able to get this car to loosen up for Kyle all day long. This can be a frustrating place, Wally. I know you probably had frustrating race cars here at Dover, but Kyle says the race car just will not loosen up. Whatever they do to it, it's still not making the race car loose. Even on this one, still tight again for the 5 cars.
Yeah, the problem is if you're a little bit tight, when you go in the corner if it's tight, then you're tight all the way through the corner and you can't get on the throttle. So it takes forever. And that's the frustrating part. When you're tight here, you just can't drive the car because you can't get after the gas.
And you heard him in the gas and jumping out of it and back in it again in that last corner. Kenny Wallace in the 23 is leading the Stacker 200 presented by YJ Stinger, and he's leading by 1 second less than he was when we went to the commercial break, mostly because he's caught some pretty heavy lap traffic he's trying to work through. Let's take you through the field. We have 20 cars on the lead lap. We'll update most of them here and start with the race leader and Matt.
Kenny Wallace working on his first top 5 finish since August 2002 at Indianapolis Raceway Park, where he finished 5th. Remember, they're still questionable whether they can make it on fuel. They're gambling it. They're going to roll the dice. He said nothing about the race car since the last pit stop. Meanwhile, Casey Mears, the 1 car, his car is starting to go to the tight side, Dave. They're also going to run it to the finish.
The 8 car of Martin Truex Jr. started 8th on that last restart, has made his way all the way up to 3rd. But he said his car was already tight, especially in the center on lap 123. So still battling a tight race car. Battle for 2nd, guys.
Yeah, but somebody may get boxed in here. Right now, it's Casey.
And Truex has been so impressive the last few laps as he's passed Casey Kane and now trying to battle for the 2nd spot as they go by Justin Labonte in 44.
This ain't gonna work. There you go. I thought they were going to go 3 wide off too. There's no way.
All right, so Truex to 2nd, Casey Mears to 3rd, Casey Kane right behind them.
Wow, he gobbled
4th.
up a lot of track time right there. Those guys fighting side by side. Casey Kane really came up on him.
Let's continue going through the field. Dave, how about Casey Kane?
Casey Kane restarted in the 6th position, has made his way up to 4th. The only thing he said on the radio about 20 laps ago, he said the right side air pressure is too low, guys. He did not elaborate on that. The 60 car, Greg Biffle, restarted 11th, has made his way all the way up to 6th. On that pit stop, they made a wedge and air pressure adjustment to fix a loose-in, tight, center-off condition. Pretty good run so far for Biffle this afternoon. The 0-0 car of Jason, I've never called it the 0-0 car before. The 0-0 Jason Leffler. That car, remember, did not get fresh tires like the rest of the guys. He's been passed now by the faster cars that took on 4 tires. Matt?
And Mike McLaughlin making a great run. Restarted 11th, has climbed all the way up, almost knocking on the door of the top 5. His car still a tick on the tight side. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick, no doubt about it, his car is really tight. He told crew chief Ricky Byers, if we get one more stop, you've got to do something to free me up. Dave?
2 cars Ron Hornaday. The nose was shoving according to the driver. They made an air pressure adjustment, changed 4 tires. He's picked up 1 spot from restarting 10. Marty?
Dave, not a lot of conversation from Mark Martin on the radio. His last transmission car is good. They have lost track position. However, he's in the 10th position. He has 45 wins. The first one came right here. Stacy Compton on his last stop took no tires. That is showing. He restarted 3rd. Currently, he is in 11th. The car extremely tight for Stacy. Matt?
And Michael Waltrip, he is just hanging on, he tells his team. The car just way too tight. They should have been a little more aggressive with their air pressure adjustment on the last stop, Marty.
Got a word from Kyle Busch on the radio. Spotted Ricky Hendrick trying to help him find a different line to get his way up through the field. He is 13th right now. Came into the race 105 behind Martin Truex. Stands to lose a lot of points tonight. Pressuring him from behind is Johnny Slaughter. His car is a lot better, he says, than it was at the start of the race. Just a little bit tight for the 26-year-old, but happy with the car right now. David Green came down pit road, had to stop twice because he flat spotted the tires, as Alan talked about, chattering the front tires. Car just won't turn. They finished 3rd here in June. They will not have as good of a result tonight. Timmy Feedaway, his car is tight as well. They finished 9th here in June. Car getting tighter the longer Tim runs. That's the problem, just having trouble hanging on to the car. 22 car of Jason Keller said, I couldn't turn this car in a 50-acre field. An old racing cliche, for the car is too tight. They were a little too free came down, made too many adjustments to the car. Now it's too tight. Alan?
There you go, 17 cars on the lead lap as Kenny Wallace has put 18th place Paul Menard, 19th place David Stremme, and 20th place Aaron Fike a lap down. Kenny with nearly 3 seconds on Martin Truex Jr. and 39 laps to go. Can he hold on to the lead? Does he have enough fuel to make the checkered flag? Martin Truex has come from 5 seconds behind Kenny Wallace to 0.7 of a second down. Now 17 laps to go. We know Truex has got fuel to go to the finish. We also believe he's got a whole lot better handling race car right now than Kenny's older tires. Dave?
And Kevin Bonomanian wasn't really sure about that this morning when I talked to him. He said, we've got a setup in this car that we don't have any notes for. We've never tried it before, but I think it's where we need to go. This car has been loose all weekend long, and the notes on my pad today, writing down tight, but adjusting. So they got that car corrected the other way, and now they've given him a car that Martin Truex can possibly contend for the win with.
Last time Truex won 15 races ago in Nazareth, Pennsylvania, late May.
Truex has got to keep his eye on that car just in case it does run out of fuel. He doesn't want to run over it.
The fade continues for Casey Kane in the 38 as Mark Martin goes by him for 5th.
Changing gears.
And the one car is on pit road. And what happened to Kyle Busch?
Looks like he's got some damage on the right front there.
There we see it. Oh,
crunch.
Stacy Compton. Now, got a tire rub. He was out of the gas too when he hit him.
And back to the front runners. Michael Waltrip, we heard him just hanging on. Well, he's fallen a lap down now to the leaders. He was up in the top 5 earlier. And the word on Casey Mears, a flat right front was the reason for the unscheduled pit stop. You just caught a glimpse of him coming off the pit road. Well, there it is. Top 2. 13 laps to go. Kenny Wallace, Martin Truex Jr. racing for the win. One definitely with enough fuel on board to make the checkered flag. The other trying desperately to hang on to the win, and he may not have enough gas to get there.
I tell you what, I have been impressed with this 23 car. Yeah, he has stayed out there, and he has been awfully good. Dave, how about the 8 car?
BP Wally talked about the 23 running out of fuel, the 8 having to watch it. They radioed to Martin Truex in the 8. Watch out, we think the 23 might run out of fuel. Don't get into him if he slows suddenly.
Right there, he's too close.
There he goes.
Get by.
Kenny Wallace up the hill to the leader. 12 to go.
He just came on the radio yelling, it is out. The guys are up on the wall. And lap 189, mark it on your scorecard.
11 laps short.
Gas only, guys, get him out of here. Gas only, get him out of here.
Thing is, he's going to lose probably about 4 laps, 5 laps, maybe even more now. Of course, like I said, it always runs out of gas at turn 4.
At the worst possible
It never
spot.
runs out of gas going into turn 3.
Fortunately for Kenny, Dover's one of the places where you can coast all the way around. But unfortunately, top 5 finish, goodbye. Never mind the win. So 10 laps to go, and Wallace in for a very expensive couple of gallons of fuel. You think the price you pay for gasoline's high?
Yeah, that Sunoco fuel is very expensive, what he's putting in his car now. Finally.
And it's going to take a while. Well, they may get lucky and get it refired right away, but usually it takes forever to get these cars restarted. It'll fire, and then it won't, and it'll fire, and it won't.
Chug.
Hey, I'm impressed.
Yeah, that was a pretty fast one, considering.
Stacy Compton has come down pit road with a flat tire after the contact with Kyle Busch.
Let me guess, left rear.
And so he's also got compounding problems. He's going to have a pass-through penalty for being a little too fast as well. So here it is, Martin Truex Jr. now with a 5-second lead over the now second-place car of Greg Biffle. And with Kyle Busch struggling, Truex could be on the way to the biggest championship lead that has been enjoyed all season in the NASCAR Busch Series. Kyle Busch having fallen way back in the running order. Where is Kyle? He is 10th now. He's picked up a couple spots with these guys that have had problems.
Yeah, the one car, Casey Mears having the flat, and Kenny Wallace running out of fuel. Kenny Wallace is now 2 laps down in 20th position.
Mark Truex came close to winning the June race here. He led 75 laps of it. He was beaten off of pit road by Greg Biffle with 55 to go and couldn't pass him back. Well, this time he's ahead of Biffle in these final laps. And the only thing he's got to worry about now is this lap traffic.
I don't think he's going to worry about it too much. He doesn't have any pressure behind him, so he can take his time getting through this traffic.
Now, the only concern he has now is green, white checker.
Yes.
In case a caution flag was to come out and to run past the 200 laps, well, all those lead lap cars would close up right on his back bumper, and then have just a couple of laps go to decide the winner.
And as fast as Biffle has been in this last segment of the race, his car suddenly coming alive. I wouldn't want to have him on the back bumper for a green white checker.
And Mike McLaughlin back in 3rd spot, also a very good race car. So easy Martin.
Here's where you're screaming at your spotter.
And these guys move over. And Bono, the crew chief, is telling him, look, you got a 5-second lead. Easy does it.
There goes Bliss up the hill.
2 to go when you get here. 2.
Oh, I see why he's running so hard now. He wants to put that 5-car lap down. Kyle Busch is right in front of him.
Little psychological thing there on your championship rival, you think?
I don't think he's going to get to him.
No, it doesn't look that way.
2 more laps here at Dover. Whoa, Biffle, trouble, 60s off the pace.
It's like he's out of gas.
Out of gas, folks.
Man, oh man, 2 laps to go.
Well, I wonder if Truex could run out.
It looks like anybody can.
They told me, someone told me in the garage here this morning that the Chevrolets that Truex is driving seem to be getting better fuel mileage than most of the other brands.
Hey, I said he wouldn't get the 5, BP. Could be wrong.
Final lap, white flag is up. Martin Truex Jr. with plenty of room over 2nd place Mike McLaughlin.
I think he's just going to ride now.
Now he doesn't have to worry about green, white checker once the white flag is displayed.
Well, before the race, we talked to him about the, whoa, Mark Martin spinning around. The caution is out, but the white flag is already waved, and so the race is over. Martin Truex Jr. wins.
And the stage dive for Martin Truex Jr. And Jr. is in there somewhere, I'm sure, trying to stay fresh for tomorrow's race. This is great. The team lines up on the other side of the car. The driver gets out the driver's side so we can interview him, and then it all goes away because now I'm out of position over here. But it's about Martin this afternoon, and Martin came in here, what you call your home track, just a couple hours from home, wanting to win bad, and you did it.
Yeah, that's some losing streak I had, wasn't it?
Yeah, I said it was 14. You said that wasn't much, but you wanted to get over that, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We've been trying hard. We've been fighting all year, and we've had some tough times and fought back, and just shows how good these guys are. Bono does an awesome job leading them, and I told Bono wear these all day. Last one we had, he won my sunglasses all day, and he wore them all day. We won again, but man, just awesome team effort. Our car was real good at the start. It got tight. We kept adjusting on it, and that last run, I just took it real easy on my right front and waited for it, everybody to back up to me, and I just can't say enough about these guys. KFC, this is our last race with them, and real proud to get them in victory lane, and just having lots of fun, man. Awesome day.
Tell us what winning here at Dover means, Martin.
It means everything to me. This is where I made my first Busch start, and I've been coming here for years. Came here for years with my dad's car and struggled, and we learned a lot. We got noticed. We got a ride, and Dale Jr. and all these guys, I can't thank them enough for this opportunity. Everybody at DEI, they build awesome cars. I'm just, it's just a thrill to drive them, and man, we want it Dover. Don't get no better than this.